Jake Heaps took all the snaps in the second half last Saturday and appears to be on the verge of becoming the Cougars' full-time starter. Tonight in part 2 of his in-depth interview, True Blue's Robbie Bullough tackles the future with Jake Heaps.
Jake Heaps was ranked the #1 quarterback in the country by Scout.com and named the starting quarterback for the West team in the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. The heavily recruited quarterback chose to attend BYU, but the decision was not an easy one to make.
I never grew up a BYU fan. I never grew up really watching BYU football. I always dreamed of Washington and playing from the hometown team. And there was a lot of pressure for me to go to Washington, but I knew that BYU was the right fit for me as a person, but as a football player as well. It just fit my strengths, and that was the best place. So I ended up choosing BYU, and it's turned out that it couldn't have been more perfect for me.
Ironically, the lifelong Washington fan defeated his hometown Huskies in his first career game as a BYU Cougar.
After the game, it couldn't have been a sweeter experience for me to beat my hometown team. And I'm sure they're going to do a lot of great things the rest of the season, but it was an awesome experience for me, and it was really gratifying.
Jake graduated from high school early and enrolled at BYU last January. Not long into his freshman year, he made his mark on the football field, albeit in an unconventional way. One of the most beloved things at BYU is the police beat, and back in July, it was reported that a football player was cited for trespassing at LaVell Edwards Stadium, and rumor has it, that was you.
Yes, it was me. It was me. What happened was, I was just sitting there one night and I got all fired up, and I was so excited about, playing Washington and all that stuff that I decided that I was going to go walk on the field and go check things out, and that was probably the coolest 20 minutes I've had. Just being there all to myself. Just kind of having the stadium dark and barely lit, and it was a really cool experience. But sat there and saw the police come, and I was just like, oh man, what did I do?
So even football players can trespass on their home turf, is that?
Yeah, exactly. Even football players don't get past the law, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So. But next time I'll definitely try to make sure and let someone know I'm going to go on the field first.
Jake was more than welcome onto the field in the season opener against Washington. Along with Riley Nelson, he helped lead the Cougars to a 23-17 victory. So you've got just a couple games under your belt and certainly a promising career ahead of you. What kind of goals do you have? As
of right now, I'm just trying to help this team out and do the best I can and play my role the best that I can. And whatever it takes to help our team to win, that's what I'm going to do.
Robbie Bullough in studio with us. You've spent a lot of time now with Jake Heaps. What are you most impressed about?
The fact that he's young, but you don't really tell he's young. Looking at him, you can tell he's young, but you hear him talk. You even watch him out there, getting sacked a lot against Florida State, not used to having to get rid of the ball so fast, but just his maturity in the way he talks and the way he handles the football out there.
He sounded like that to me listening to the radio broadcast after the game Saturday. There was just a tone to his voice of, okay, I'm not 19 anymore. I'm ready to do this.
And a lot of people wanted that. They either wanted Riley or they wanted Jake. I think more people probably wanted Jake. They weren't too sure about the whole 2 quarterback thing when it was announced. A lot of people were skeptical, and I think even more so after those 2 losses. But I think it could still work for BYU. Maybe going with a true 2 quarterback system, switch it up even on the same drive. You saw him going no huddle against Florida State. Throw some no huddle in there, switching quarterbacks in and out. Matt Reynolds will get a workout going from left to right depending on who's in there. But, you could really change up some defenses, so it could still work.
I love the notion of Riley on the goal line when you're going to run the ball and run the option, and teams don't quite know what to do when BYU runs an option play.
But it's getting to the goal line that's been the problem for BYU so far.
I remember Lane Fowler was here a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about the difference between high school and college. And in high school, a quarterback dropped back to pass and everybody's open. In college, you drop back to pass and nobody's open. And we've seen that with Jake the last few weeks of somebody sacked. And so, he's really playing through that. Yeah, and you drop back to pass and your D linemen don't look like your wide receivers like they did in high school. Yeah. You've got guys coming at you and coming at you really fast. So your receivers aren't as open, but you also don't have nearly as much time to get rid of the football. And Jake Heaps, I think, found that out the hard way against Florida State. Okay, Robbie, good stuff. Thank you.